Hello, everybody.
Hey,
I'm Matt
uh,
Carly.
it is good. It is good to be back here with Carly. Carly, Carly, you look different. You've
I know I
changed
wasn't
since I
feeling good
saw you.
today.
Yeah, I've been away for a couple weeks, and now it is Carly's turn. She's taking a break this week, but we wish her a speedy return to
Yep.
us. In the meantime, our illustrious publisher Matt is here, filling in. Good to see you.
You too. Glad
And
to have you back.
it's good to see everyone in the chat. First up in the chat this week, Vince Lamb checking in. Thank you, Vince. I'm glad you missed me. I missed you. Uh, Blossom and Terry in Derek's corner as always. Welcome, folks. Um, Brian Saker hopping into the chat. Say Brendan Fraser finally got his cup of coffee. Yes, it was a big night for the star of The Mummy and The Whale at the Oscars last night. So good to see another Oscar-winning theme park performance. Um, I've been away for a couple weeks, and I could probably fill an entire episode talking about Super Nintendo and all the stuff I got to see at Disneyland. But I don't think we're going to do that. We'll touch on it very briefly once we start the show. But you'll have to DM me if you want all of those details, or pick up my next book, which all of it will go into. Before we get started, John Self checking in, saying
Hey,
hi from his
John.
home office. Hello, John. And Karen
Hey,
Andrews is
Karen.
saying good morning to us. Thank you. Good morning to you too. All right. Well, we've got about a dozen people
But
signing
with the
in.
time change, it's not morning anymore here.
Right, right. Yes, I hope you set all of your clocks forward. Lost that hour of sleep. Um, Hope you've recovered. I had that double whammy of jet lag from coming from California, plus the spring forward. So I'm
Oh
I'm
boy.
feeling good. I have my vintage Epcot Center cup of coffee, and I think it is time for us to kick this show off in 3, 2, and 1.
Please lower your head and watch your step while boarding.
Welcome to the Attractions Podcast. You are all clear for dispatch. Have fun.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 182 of the Attractions Podcast, sponsored by MEI and MEI-Travel. I'm Seth,
I'm Matt.
substituting for Carly, who is off this week. Hi, Matt. We are here, as
Hello.
always, to talk to you about the latest and greatest in theme park news and more, as well as what is going on in our own lives. And it's been a bit since I've seen you. How have you been, and what have you been up to?
Oh, I've been doing good, just hanging out. I've went over to Aquatica for their 15th anniversary
Oh, I
event.
missed that. I missed that. How was it?
You didn't miss too much. They did a nice little show. They had some Polynesian dancers out, and they did a speech, and had some couple animals out. But one of the main things we were there to see was a new kids area coming.
Ah,
But it's basically just a dirt lot with some slides on it right now.
sure.
They hope to open it in a couple of months, I think. But for now, they were mostly just saying, we've been here 15 years. I had on my
As
shirt that I
hard to
got on opening day.
I feel like it was yesterday when I heard that they were going to build that. I had a friend at the time who was working for SeaWorld, and they said, "Oh yeah, we're going to build a water park." And I was like, "What does SeaWorld want to build a water park for?" Next thing you know, there's Aquatica.
Yep.
So that's great. I'm sorry I missed that. I've been traveling. I missed everyone the last couple of weeks, but I got to experience something really unique, and that is snow at a Southern California theme park.
That's not
It was
supposed to be.
pretty amazing. Yeah, I guess technically it did not really count as snow. It was more like some sort of sleet. because the air temperature was slightly above freezing, but that didn't stop big white solid blobs from falling out of the sky. It was pretty cool being on the top of Universal Hollywood and looking out, off of the escalator and seeing snow on the mountains all around.
Yeah, that's cool.
Pretty incredible. We have talked so much on this show about Super Nintendo World, and all I got to say is it's as good as the hype. It just needs to be bigger. It's way too
Less
many people. Way too many people. If you're going to do it, my advice is invest in that power band. I think it was the best $40 I've spent on a theme park tchotchke. Much better than my Magic Band. Got more fun out of it even than my Harry Potter wands. But spend that money for the early entry. And take advantage of that first hour. Mario Kart's probably going to be broken down in the first hour, but use it to play the games and punch the bricks and get the keys so that you can do Bowser Jr. without waiting in a long line later. I thought all the interactive stuff was great. I love the ride. I want to go back. I even bought an annual pass just so I can go back there.
And you got to do something else really cool, which was take a tour of the Walt Disney Studios, correct?
Yes, I did not want to make people too jealous because this is something that you can't really sign up for. D23, the official Disney fan club, about once a year makes a very limited number of tours available. I believe there were 4 or 5 tours on this one day, and there were only 8 people in each tour.
Wow.
So it was super exclusive. Got to go inside Walt's office,
nice.
Which is, that's kind of one of those bucket list things for a Disney fan. And I also got to go to the archives and talk to Becky Klein, who is the head archivist. And it turns out they have a copy of books that I've worked on sitting on the bookshelves in the archives.
That's
so
awesome.
that was kind of a cool thing to learn. I'm sure they also have copies of Attractions magazines.
Yep, I saw them there. I saw them.
Yes. They collect everything. It doesn't mean that they love us necessarily. It just means that they collect everything. But that was a pretty amazing experience. But I could, like I said, spend the entire hour just talking about my trip. But instead, I think it is time for us, without any further ado, to jump into the news. Okay, first up, Universal Parks and Parks and Resorts is no more. It is now Universal Destinations and Experiences. The division of Comcast that runs the Universal theme parks has rebranded. They've got new logos, and people have some thoughts about the logos.
Good thoughts.
So according to the press release, basically this change signals how they are diversifying. They are not just their big theme park resorts anymore. They are developing these little projects like what's coming to Texas and to Las Vegas. You're going to see more small scale Universal experiences all across the world, and they are changing the name of the division that Mark Woodbury is the chairman and CEO of to reflect that difference. This is mostly like a corporate thing that, guests are not going to care about. But the one thing guests I think will care about is they came along with a redesign of the logos for the theme parks. And how would you describe as someone who's been in publishing and graphic design your whole life? How would you describe? I don't think we have one of them.
No,
right?
we don't.
But they're all in this. They're in this style. They are all.
Well, they're in that style, except the one that I hate, which is the City Walk one. And for some reason, I've seen it a couple different ways. I'm not sure which one's the official, but they put "city" on one word line and walk below it. And they have always spelled City Walk as one word.
Yeah.
Now they're splitting it into 2 words, and I don't know that they officially are. When it's spelled out, I think it's still supposed to be one word, but the logo that they created has it 2 words, which I don't like. So
Yeah, typographically that one's a little wonky, and the Universal Studios Florida one is fine, I guess. The IOA one kind of jars my eye a little. They're all very flat. I know, simplified. Maybe they're meant to look good as an icon on a smartphone, more so than anything else. I don't know.
I don't know either.
Yeah, so new logos. The one thing we do not have is new names for any of the theme parks and resorts. In case you were thinking that Universal Hollywood was going to rebrand as Universal Hollywood Resort, Mark Woodbury most emphatically said in the presentation that they are not changing the name.
Right. Yep. And I think, like you said, it just goes to show that this what they're doing in Texas and what they're doing in Vegas is just the start of what they have planned. So
Yep, this is
we will
the
see.
wave of the future. I think
you
they're
just-
they're looking at Epic Universe as kind of like, at that point, Orlando is built out, and we're kind of spreading out across the country to other places.
And we'll see if they stick with this concept of it just
Yep.
being kids areas, or will they build full on theme parks like they have in Orlando, some other places. We don't know, but
yeah, I think they're going to be very targeted in their demographics. They look at a place like Frisco, Texas, that is very popular with growing young families, so we build a park just for families. We look at Las Vegas, which is nightlife and over 21, and we build something focused on that group. So the day of building a resort where there's something for everyone, that might be past. So next up, Disneyland's Avatar area is supposedly going to be just as amazing as Walt Disney World's, according to promises made by a D23 article and CEO Robert Iger. And this is a little bit of a surprise, because I personally expected something scaled down and a lot easier to build.
yeah, people were thinking, oh, it's going to be just I lost my train of thought. Oh, it's just going to be some kind of a walkthrough experience or something.
And I'll admit that was my first reaction when I heard about an Avatar experience, as opposed to them saying an Avatar land or an Avatar ride.
Right, and there are all kinds of experiences around the world that you can go to. So we thought, they're going to bring one of those to Disneyland, but you can't say that that's as exciting as what's in Orlando.
Yes,
so this has got to be something more. It's got to be it's got to be the land or more. I mean, or they're lying.
Yeah. Disney would never lie to us. They're gonna build Dick Tracy's Crime Stoppers any day now.
Yeah, right.
No. That's a deep cut for those fans of the Disney decade, if we still remember the 90s. Yes, I personally was thinking, like, there is an Avatar experience that opened not too long ago in Shanghai, which is a walkthrough with animatronics and interactive things. There's similar things for Jurassic World that tour around the planet. And I thought we'd be looking at something like that. I actually spoke with someone involved with the project in Shanghai. And they were basically like, if that's moving to Disneyland, it's news to us. So this looks to be something that is coming out of the theme park division, as opposed to the entertainment location-based division. I don't know where they can fit a full-scale Pandora in without going with the Disney Forward plan, which involves basically replacing the old parking lots behind downtown Disney. And that was a proposal that I don't think has gotten far in the permitting process yet. So it's bold to just announce that. If I had to put a bet on where in the park, if we're talking Disneyland park, it would have to replace the Star Wars Launch Bay, which was formerly the Carousel Theater, and the submarines and Autopia next door. If they took out all of that, there would be enough room. You would have to reroute the monorail.
Wow.
But that's the only place in Disneyland Park that I think you could possibly fit something that size.
Do you think with Splash Mountain retheming that kind of fits in with New Orleans, but the fact that Winnie the Pooh doesn't fit in with New Orleans, that they could put it there? And I don't think I'd want to get rid of that ride. But
Winnie the Pooh originally started as the Country Bear Jamboree Theater.
Right.
Is not that big. And if you look at it on a map, you've got the railroad hemming it in on one side, and you've got Star Wars Rise of the Resistance is just to the north of it.
Okay.
You couldn't put a full-size Pandora for sure there. You just have to squeeze, and that'd be super awkward thematically. Like, I can see how Tomorrowland could be a gateway to Pandora, but I'm not sure about New Orleans.
Well, I mean, it's a gateway to Star
maybe
Wars.
we just still call it Critter Country. They're just blue critters now.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know.
I don't know either, and I'm thinking like you that maybe it's part of the forward plan, but
yes, this would be a great bargaining chip for the Disneyland Forward plan that they pitched to the city. I would, for one, love to have a version of Pandora there, because it seems like every ride that exists in both Disneyland and Walt Disney World, I managed to get on it in Disneyland with a much shorter wait. So I'll be happy to be able to ride Flight of Passage without having to wait in line for 2.5 hours.
I don't know that they would just copy it either. With the second movie out now and the other movies already in progress, we could have a Flight of Passage, but a different video.
It would be a perfect opportunity to introduce a Flight of Passage 2.0, as long as it's an actual upgrade and we're not like a Soarin' type situation where people like the original one better.
That could be too. Yep.
Well, all right. We are moving on now to more Disney news. Switching franchises, though, from Avatar to Star Wars. The Mandalorian and Grogu have now both made their debut at Disney's Hollywood Studios. It was a sort of surprise move. We knew they were coming. We didn't know exactly when, but it looks like on March 1st, Din Djarin and the child started strolling around inside Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, and it looks like they are now a permanent addition.
Yeah, I haven't got out to see them yet. I want to. I'm glad that we did get confirmation from Disney that they don't have any end date. Nothing's permanent, as we call it permanent, but
nothing in life for Disney is permanent ever. But ongoing, at least
ongoing for the time being. So hopefully the crowds are down. If you watch our video or have seen photos from the day they came out, we got a little tip off that they were coming out. So we were there, and the crowds were crazy. So we weren't the only ones that got the tip off, but just people that were in the land went crazy for them as soon as they saw them. So
the neat thing about this is it's not a puppet; it's an animatronic, and it can move its face and make some noises. I still don't think it looks as good as you saw the animatronic from Garner Holt that was at IAPA, right?
I've seen that one in person. I haven't seen this one yet in person, so I'm not sure. But
that one from Garner Holt was just extraordinary. But it also had a very large kind of base pop capsule that had to live in. So this is kind of cool that it just sort of hangs in a sack off the side of the Mandalorian. I haven't gotten to see him in person either, but the same day, I believe that this, or maybe the next day, in Disneyland, I saw Boba Fett.
Oh, nice!
And it was, I've seen Boba Fett over the years in Disneyland, but it was a classic trilogy Boba Fett. You can tell based on the black And this one was talking in the actor Tamura Morrison's voice. I have never seen that before. I'm sure wasn't the first person to see him, but that was new to me.
The whole character or the talking part?
I haven't seen him in Galaxy's Edge at all.
Oh yeah.
I've seen the classic one.
When he debuted last year sometime, he was with Finnick Shan.
Fennec. Okay. So I never got a chance to see him. So that was new to me.
I haven't seen him yet either, or Finnick. I'm assuming he was by himself when you saw him.
He was by himself. Fennec was nowhere to be seen, and the Mandalorian apparently was not strolling that day because Grogu was feeling cranky and just didn't want to wake up from his nap. Apparently, so
that's nice. I hope we get Boba Fett as well. So,
yes, that's so. So I'm hoping, yes, since I have never seen him in the flesh because that was my first time at Disneyland since he was introduced. Hopefully, he will also make the trip east.
Nice.
Okay, and moving on in other Star Wars news, this one not quite so happy. Yeah. Star Wars Galactic Star Cruiser has downgraded, downscaled, downsized, and they are going to only be doing partial weeks during the fall. They rather than doing back-to-back voyages all month long, it looks like starting in October of 2023, they're only going to be doing two-night trips a week.
Yeah. And so, we assume this is because lack of bookings. We've heard rumors that some of the sailings are not full. So
yeah, I think it might almost be becoming a catch-22 thing. Yes, they are not filling up the Star Cruiser the way that they used to when the initial hype was driving people to spend over $2,000 a night to enjoy this. Another element that might be a factor is staffing, actors.
Right.
A lot of the original cast members, either their contracts weren't renewed or they didn't return once the initial year was up. And casting and training in new people, especially when you're constantly doing shows back to back, there has been no downtime for them to repair things, for them to rehearse new people, for people to get a break. So maybe that's also a factor. But yeah, I think we can definitely assume that there are not as many people banging on the door to pay full price for this experience that there were when it first started.
I know there's people hoping, why don't they just lower the price and it will fill up? But we don't know what their operating costs are. We don't know, how much they put into it, what they need to make to run it. Maybe they priced it almost as low as they could to begin with.
Well,
they're doing a few cast member 50% off nights, days.
They are doing 50% off. I actually know some folks who are hitching rides with cast members and taking advantage of that. Half off is still is much better than full price. It's still expensive, as we point out in this article, that a full-time cast member would still have to spend an entire month's salary or more to afford 2 nights of this, even at that half price. They've gone after the DVC folks with discounts. They've offered hotel discounts if you book this. But, obviously it's still not selling out. You're right. We are not access to their internal numbers. I've done, back of the napkin calculations based on my idea of how much the actors are getting paid, and I don't think even at half price they're losing money on it.
Probably not.
I think that the reluctance to give deeper, more meaningful price reductions is that they don't want to destroy the perceived value. They don't want, this is like Tesla. lowers the prices for all their cars, and they've got people storming the showrooms demanding refunds. They don't want to create the situation where people who paid full price are now saying, I got ripped off.
Yeah.
They'll do specials, they'll do discounts, they'll do bundles, but I think a fundamental price. Here's my hot take. The writers did their job. The designers did their job. The technicians did their job. The actors are doing their job every single day. The people who did not do their job are the advertisers, the marketers, and the accountants who decided what price to charge and how many rooms to build. The people who are going to suffer are the actors who are doing their job, the designers, the directors, the writers who are all did exactly what they were supposed to do. The people who will not suffer in any way are the accountants and the advertisers and the marketers who made all the bad choices that were involved in this.
I don't want to talk about this all show, but
we could.
But you could get into the point of what's this mean for future. What's this mean for a haunted mansion hotel?
You're not gonna see another Galactic Star Cruiser get built at Disneyland. I guarantee. I think something like a Hogwarts hotel could still be successful. I still think this could be successful if they just took the days that they're down and run a shuttle from Batu to the Halcyon to let average people like me. I'd happily spend $50 or $75 or even $100 to go over there for lunch,
have lunch and
have a couple hours, get a little bit of a show, get a little bit of interactivity. I'd do that as an add-on. I'm sure there's plenty of people who would do that as an add-on. It's almost like free money because it's sunk cost. They've got the building there. They've paid all the upfront costs to let it sit there instead of think of a more creative use for it. Is kind of it's bad show, Bob. It's a bad show. All right. I think we better move on before you start losing your media invites and talk about something more fun, which is the Disney Cruise Line's Lighthouse Point, which is their new second private island destination on track to open to guests in summer of 2024. I personally am a big fan of Castaway Cay, and this looks even better.
Yeah, and I saw somebody pointing out it's not really an island because it's just on the mainland, but and there's other cities around. But
I mean, it is the Bahamas is completely surrounded by
they're
water.
Islands,
they're all islands, but it's not necessarily. It's a private island destination. It's not an entire island that they own. It's like a chunk of an island.
Right. Yep. But that aside, it looks great. We got a lot more details. There's going to be lots of different activities, and they're really leaning into the culture of Bohemian community and what's it mean to be in the Bahamas, and what's that look like with the buildings and the decorations, and there's going to be some ways to learn about the culture while you're there as well. Whereas Castaway Cay is nothing like that.
That's what I find. Castaway Cay is great. It's a wonderful. It's one of my favorite cruise line private islands, but it is very much Disney coming and planting themselves on inside another culture, and just basically it's very colonial.
Right.
Whereas this, the colonialism is far more subtle and tasteful. They learned a lot from Aulani, partnering with local artists, the local culture, and trying to create something that looks, indigenous with a touch of Disney magic. So as opposed to, say, like Royal Caribbean's private island, which has giant massive water slides and stuff, this has play areas and splash pads and some slides, but it's all kind of integrated in a very artistic and also very ecologically aware kind of environment. They show concept art with what they call curvilinear buildings evoking seashells scattered along the shore, and it's also inspired by the colorful Junkanoo parades, the
Yeah.
lively street festivals, and I think this looks really pretty.
And much like Castaway Cay, it'll have an adults area. It'll
Mhm.
have places to eat, live entertainment, and of course the characters are going to be there as well. And I think there's same as on Castaway. I think there's a place where you can get a massage on the island
Mhm.
as well.
Yeah, all of, your typical spa and dining and drinking options that you're used to on a cruise line private island are going to be there. I think what sets this apart is that out of the like 700 acres that they own, they're only developing a small portion of it, and almost 200 of those acres are being donated back to the Bahamas as a national park. They're getting 90% of their power from solar. And they're
Wow.
leaving a whole big section as like an ecological preserve with coral reefs and caves and things that you can take excursions to experience, but are also going to be protected for the wildlife and for the flora and the fauna.
Yeah, and they're going to have. I think if you're watching on screen, there's the
Mhm.
premium family cabanas.
Oh yeah. You always got to have
Um,
those private cabanas available by reservation only, and those will book up quick.
These looked even more
Mhm.
luxurious than the ones they have now. So I think we visited some on NCL's island, and they're
Mhm.
air conditioned cabanas. You go in and you have TV and you have
Who needs a
cable and
beach?
movies, and
Who needs the beach,
yeah,
right?
you can pretend you're not even at the beach.
Um, so you are going to be able to explore all of this. One of the ways you're going to be explore this is when Disney Cruise Line's sixth ship debuts, the Disney Treasure.
Disney Treasure, yep.
Both of these are launching in 2024. So I am very jealous because you are probably going to get to take a trip on the new ship to the new island,
I hope
and you're going to have
so.
to come back and tell us all about it.
Yep.
All right, and finally, I think for our last bit of news in the queue, we've got. Oh, sorry, second to last bit of news in the queue. We have another Peppa Pig theme park is coming to Texas in 2024. Texas looks like the place to be for theme parks. We just had the announcement of Universal's family theme park, and families will have even more to do with a version of the park that we know and enjoy outside Legoland here in Florida.
Yeah, it seems like Dallas might be the new
Hmm.
Orlando.
Absolutely, absolutely.
um,
Um,
if when it comes to kids attractions, at least.
Yeah, yeah. The original Peppa Pig theme park opened just over 1 year ago. Just had its big birthday.
Yep.
And it's not a thrill park. As you can see, the biggest ride there is a roller coaster that's like, I don't know, 20 feet tall, not even. But this is the place for food and characters and shows and shaded spaces, perfect for little toddlers, and especially great for kids with on the autism spectrum. Um,
I would expect this park to look pretty much like the one in Florida, at Legoland, Florida. Yeah, I'm sure it'll have some things that are a little bit different, but overall, I think it'll probably be about the same in size and about the same kind of rides.
Absolutely. We don't have specific details on the attractions. They do have a PeppaPigThemePark.com website with a section about the new Dallas Fort Worth project. It's actually located in the city of North Richland Hills, which is kind of on the west side of the Dallas Fort Worth area. But yeah, no specific details, but I think we can really expect to be very similar to what we get right now in Florida. Just hopefully it will have a little more shade.
I haven't done the calculations to see how far this is from the Universal Park.
Well, I have.
There you go.
And right there, if you got a screen, you can see Universal Studios Frisco is on the north side of town. Peppa Pig is going to be on the west side of town, and depending on the traffic, you're going to look at about a 45 to 50-minute drive
That's not bad.
between the two. That is not bad at all. That is shorter than the distance from Magic Kingdom to Legoland Peppa Pig right now.
Yep.
And I think for families living in this area to be within less than an hour's drive of two different world-class kids parks is pretty spectacular. That's a big glow up for the Dallas-Fort Worth area.
Did you happen to see where the airport is in all this?
That is an excellent question.
I'm sure it's in there somewhere.
I know Six Flags Texas is right here in Arlington.
Okay, there you go.
Maybe 20 minutes south of the North Richland Hills area. And so Dallas-Fort Worth
There it
Airport,
is, right in the middle.
giant, massive airport, basically halfway in between Universal and Peppa Pig.
So fly into the airport and stay anywhere around the airport, and you're within 30 minutes of Peppa Pig, Six Flags, and Universal.
So neither of these are being pitched as destination resorts for people to fly across the country for. They're focused on the local market. But
yeah,
if you're a hardcore theme park fan, it's going to be pretty convenient to fly in. And you could hit three great parks. And honestly, depending on how many attractions, you could probably hit two of these parks in one day. I know Peppa Pig, if you're just credit hunting and you're not there, if you're a creepy old man like me who does not have small children and is just going to a theme park built for small children without them, yeah, you could probably knock out Peppa Pig in a couple hours, and maybe the same half a day.
Research. We're doing research.
It's research. It is totally research, and
then
I just need to borrow a niece or a nephew. Please.
I was gonna say, if you want to drive a few hours, you can head to SeaWorld and another Six Flags park.
Yes. Really, lot of opportunity, a lot of growth happening for the industry right here in Texas.
Yep. Exciting.
John Self, who is a global traveler, recommends the Love Airport with Southwest, which is closer to the Universal Park. Okay. Good to know. Keep those notes for when these open in 2024 or so. All right. And we are going to wrap up, speaking of Six Flags, with Six Flags 2023 season announcements. They are featuring new rides and attractions at their theme parks and water parks across North America. According to their CEO, they are providing opportunities for guests to, quote, discover something fresh and exciting at all of their parks. Some of the highlights include Aquaman Power Wave, which is debuting at Six Flags over Texas. Speaking of Texas,
yep.
Caribbean Cove at Six Flags Whitewater, and Dino Off-Road Adventure at Six Flags New England.
And a couple more down there.
We've got some more too. ESIX Gaming at Six Flags Fiesta Texas is a new esports arena. Six Flags Over Georgia is getting a Piscetti Bowl racing dueling coaster called Kid Flash Cosmic Coaster.
As well as Fiesta Texas. That one's going both places.
Yes, Fiesta Texas and Georgia. And Rookie Racer, it's a looping family coaster, is coming to Six Flags St. Louis. Also, Splash Island at Great Adventure is a new area at that water park, and Shark Experience and Rainforest Trail are going to come to Six Flags in Discovery Kingdom. There's also a lineup of new events, including Oktoberfest, Kids Boo Fest, Fright Fest is returning, and Holiday in the Park. They've also got a Scream Break going on this year. Haunted houses for spring break at select Six Flags parks. Whole long list of things that kind of conceals the fact that they're not building new attractions at most of their parks. They are now instead moving to a project of sort of cycling older, smaller rides around to their smaller parks so that they have something new to promote without
Well,
spending as much money.
It's not to say that some of these aren't brand new. I think the
So yeah,
coasters are
yeah.
brand
There's
new.
yes, there are a couple. For instance, the Aquaman Power Wave. That's the first water coaster of its kind in North America. And it launches riders backwards and forwards. It's kind of like a boomerang coaster with a splashdown.
And then I'm looking forward to the dueling coasters. It's going to Georgia and Fiesta, Texas.
Yeah, Kid Flash. This is
I
interesting. Did you
haven't.
see those models when they were at IAPA of the little Sketty
I don't know.
coasters?
I don't remember it.
Yeah, they're kind of interesting. It's a single rail. Most coasters use a dual rail.
Right.
And this is kind of like a twisted ribbon of track that should, in theory, create a really unique, tight, smooth experience. And then there's two of them that sort of wrap around each other.
Yeah, I've never done one of those single rail ones. I know they have Wonder Woman at a few parks, and
yes,
and some others. I need to get on those. And one interesting thing was that ESIX Gaming at Six Flags Texas, Fiesta in Texas. It's I don't know how a esports arena works with a daily theme park visit.
Yeah, I'm not sure if this one is going to have an extra charge, or if you want, you can just drop your kids off in front of an Xbox or a PC. Let them play Fortnite while you spent all that money on tickets so they can ride rides. Instead, they just want to play the same game we have at home.
I assume they're gonna. Well, it does say they're gonna have tournaments and things.
Yeah.
I assume that.
Yeah, and there'll probably be opportunities to watch professional gamers. Play. So that's kind of neat. I've gone to a few of those in Las Vegas, and when people get into it, it's kind of fun.
Yep.
So if you are interested in more information about Six Flags, including how you can get a season pass, which includes admission to all of these parks, visit sixflags.com. And that about brings us to the end of this week's News in the Queue. But before we get into the main attraction, it is time for us to hear a word from our sponsor.
The Attractions Podcast is brought to you by MEI and MEI-Travel. Whether your next vacation is a magical trip to the theme parks, an exciting adventure to the pyramids of Egypt, or just a relaxing cruise on the turquoise waters of the Bahamas, MEI-Travel provides premium service and expert advice to help you get the most of your vacation. They are always free of any hidden fees or costs to you. Visit them at MEI-Travel.com.
It's time for the main attraction.
All right, for this week's main attraction, it is the return of Epcot's International Flower and Garden Festival for 2023. It kicked off on opening day, March 1st, and it runs through July 5th, 2023.
That's a long time. I think I don't know if that's the longest, but July seems.
I feel like I remember when this was just 6 weeks in the spring, and now I feel like it takes up. We start in the winter and we end in the summer.
And it's so long that if you visit at the beginning, middle, and end, you're probably going to see all different flower beds.
Yeah, and that is the great thing, that it is a seasonal festival, and they are constantly refreshing the displays, updating them with what's in bloom. But what will be in bloom through the whole festival is this brand new signature piece right at the front, inspired by Encanto. And I got my selfie in front of it. Did you get to snap a picture with it too?
Yeah, and they have a cool photo pass opportunity with some of the characters from Encanto.
Yep.
If you head back towards like you're across the water from Imagination Pavilion, there. They have an area set up for some cool photos with the characters. But yeah, they're really cool. They did a really good job on them.
Yes.
I'm like the other characters, their faces and hands and arms are not actually plant material, but
Right.
their clothes are made of plant material, and they have different little small details that look really cool inside of them. And the little kid, I forget his name, his hair.
Yeah. Yeah. We're kind of stretching the definition of exactly what a topiary is. I am a
Yeah,
big fan of like, in front of It's a Small World in Disneyland. There are topiaries that were shaped and
right.
trimmed and grown from scratch over decades and decades. And to me, that's like a classic topiary. These are amazing, but they kind of stretch the line between sculpture and an actual plant material. But they certainly are cool in photographs, and you're going to want to check out this display during the daylight when you can get great shots of it. But you're also going to want to stop by at night, because after sunset, they are doing one of these beacons of light displays on Spaceship Earth set to the Encanto soundtrack. They refresh those for every seasonal event, and those are a lot of fun.
Yeah, and there's and of course not just those topiaries, but they have
Hmm.
them all throughout the park. A lot of the returning ones that you remember, but then they've got some new ones as well, like Princess Tiana,
Yep.
and you can find her in the American Pavilion. And then I think not new, but I think is it Miss Piggy has a new face too as well.
Yeah,
So
they've updated some of the classics.
yeah,
I know Lumiere and Cogsworth. They've gotten a glow up. Lumiere's got candles that light up now, and Cogsworth's clock actually works.
right.
So some nice little details as you make your way around. And I love a lot of the classic stuff. I love in Japan. They've got a dragon topiary, but they've also got those bonsais and
Yeah, I love the bonsai.
the scarecrow, the water kind of mobiles that make
Right. Yeah,
noise.
those are fun to
Um,
watch while
and
you eat your frushi.
exactly, while you eat your frushi off the top of a garbage can,
Yeah, exactly.
because you know yes, it's called the Flower and Garden Festival, but it's really another food and wine festival.
Yeah,
And
with flowers.
they've got some more than 50 new food and drink items this year. One of the standouts, Citrus Blossom, has been around for a while, but it's gotten an upgrade. It moved inside to the Odyssey Pavilion, which has been taken over with Orange Bird. And if there is any Walt Disney World specific character that I love almost as much as Figment, it is the Orange Bird.
Yeah,
There's a brand new Orange Bird sipper you can get. There's all sorts of citrus
and
food, like a tempura shrimp with orange sauce.
I tried that citrus baked brie, and that was really
How
good.
is that? Okay,
Yeah, I
good.
loved it.
Excellent. And we mentioned Princess Tiana before. In her honor, the Magnolia Terrace over at American Adventure has got some new Louisiana-inspired food. They've got a muffalata and a crawfish pie. Maybe they're testing out food that we're going to see in Magic Kingdom
That
someday.
could be.
Who knows? So the one I really enjoyed, they've got a brunch cot truck over by Test Track. That's
Okay.
marked as one of their new things. They've had that truck over by Test Track for a while, but now it's got brunch items, including a millennial approved avocado toast. So
I haven't tried that one yet. I wanted to try it, but
yes, I can't afford my retirement now because I spent too much money on avocado toast, but it was totally worth it.
I did have what you just scrolled by there, the of course the violet lemonade everybody
Ah,
loves, and the spicy hot dog. Those returned. They're both as good as always. Trying to
yes,
think of any other really
and
good. I had the frushi, of course, that was really good.
you can
Um,
find that lemonade and that spicy hot dog at Pineapple Promenade, which is also where you go once you've collected your 5 stamps in your little passport. You collect 5 stamps from selected vegetarian items around the park, and you get a free Dole Whip. And who doesn't
Oh,
love a free
nice.
Dole Whip?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. One thing I really appreciate, that's called the Garden Graze, and I really appreciate, even more than any of the other Epcot events, they focus on having a good selection of plant-based offerings. There's 11 different ones, I think, this year, which is a big change from back in the day when there was 0 plant-based offerings.
Yep. And then of course we got concerts. I haven't
Yep.
attended any of these yet, but there's some really good people coming.
Yep. They got some old favorites like Smash Mouth, and Starship. I can't get too much Starship. They've got a few new ones. Blue Oyster Cult will be they better play Don't Fear the Reaper at every set. Uh, and I also noticed that a couple bands that we are used to seeing at the Rock the Universe events at Universal, Switchfoot and Casting Crowns,
Oh,
are
interesting.
playing the Garden Rocks concert series for the first time. Remember July 2nd and 3rd, Wang Chung. Everybody have fun tonight. Everybody Wang Chung tonight.
Yep. You know those people with the one hits are going to have to play that one hit every set, or people will be upset.
Hey, I think Wang Chung had at least 2 hits.
Okay, well, sorry, Wang Chung.
Well, the depending on the popularity of the band, you may want to reserve yourself a spot through the guaranteed seating through the concert series dining packages. Those are available at 8 locations for a fixed price. And you can learn about that at freshepcot.com. And you've only got a few more days to combine your Flower and Garden visit with your 50th anniversary Walt Disney World visit. That celebration, because a year in Disney World lasts 18 months, that is finally wrapping up at the end of March, which means you've only got through April 2nd to see Harmonious. After that, Harmonious is going back in the Disney Vault, and Epcot Forever, which was not forever, is back, but not for forever, just for a limited time.
And we don't know what's replacing that yet. But
No.
we've heard rumors of drones, and who knows?
Something drones are the new projection mapping.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
we're drones. You get a drone, and you get a drone, and you get a drone.
I was just thinking, we were visiting Animal Kingdom last night, just walking around in the evening, and we sat down over by the where the kite tails used to be, the big amphitheater, and we're like, this will be perfect for a drone show because they can't do fireworks here.
Exactly.
But then Universal's also rumored to be adding drones, and then Epcot adds drones. Like you said, everybody's going to have a drone show pretty soon.
Yep. Well, if you want to learn more about what is happening at Epcot right now, visit freshepcot.com for more information.
And we also have a video and a photo gallery on our website if you just want to see some more views of the festival if you can't make it yourself.
Yes, absolutely. We've got great coverage, as always, at youtube.com/attractionsmagazine. And that just about brings us to the end of this show. But if you are listening live or watching live on YouTube, come back to us in just about half an hour. At 1:30 p.m., we are going to be recording a special live interview with Savannah Bowen, who is the ambassador at Gatorland. She's had a fascinating career here in radio in Orlando and at Gatorland, spreading the word about reptiles and amphibians to all of us. We're going to have a great talk. We had a fantastic talk with her friend Carlos just a couple weeks ago, which you can find on our bonus podcast. And I'm sure our conversation is just going to be just as exciting. So tune in at 1:30 Eastern for that one.
And if you're listening to this as a podcast, not the video version, you want to see Savannah's interview, you can head to our YouTube channel and watch it right away, or we will be releasing it at some point as an audio podcast. Just don't have a date on that yet.
Yep. And before we go, we want to thank again our sponsors, MEI and MEI-Travel. And I want to remind everyone, please give us a review on Apple Podcasts and go leave us a rating on Spotify. It really helps get the word out. If you want to find more coverage from us and Attractions Magazine on the interwebs, you can find me at the UG Series on Twitter, at the Unofficial Guides on Instagram, and at theunofficialguides.com. Matt, where can they find you personally?
Personally, I'm on Twitter at Matt Boom, and everywhere else as Attractions Matt.
Absolutely. And you can find the whole Attractions team. We are here for you 24/7 at attractionsmagazine.com, at Attractions on Twitter, at Attractions Magazine on Instagram, at youtube.com/attractionsmagazine, and at Attractions on TikTok. And until next week, we hope that you folks stay safe, try something new, but most importantly, have fun. Bye.
Bye.